Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you're into smartphones, tech analysis, and brutally honest breakdowns of devices that fly under the radar, you're in for a treat. Because today, we're taking a deep, comprehensive look at a smartphone that most of the mainstream tech world doesn't even mention, the NUU 20. That's right, not Samsung, not Apple, not OnePlus, not Pixel, but NUU, a brand that's slowly and quietly been crafting smartphones aimed at delivering the essentials for less. So the big question we're answering today is this. Is the NUU 20 a hidden budget gem, or is it just another forgettable device in a crowded market? Over the next hour, we'll cover everything. The hardware, the software experience, the camera system, performance metrics, battery life, pros, cons, and how it stacks up against some of the more popular options out there. By the end of this video, you'll know everything there is to know about the NUU 20 and whether it deserves a place in your pocket. Let's start with a bit of context, because most people hearing NUU probably wonder who even makes this phone. NUU Mobile is a U.S.-based company with roots in both Hong Kong and the EU, and it's been operating in the budget mobile space for a number of years. Their mission has always been about democratizing technology, creating phones that offer solid, reliable functionality without forcing you to pay a small fortune. Now, they're not the biggest name in town. You won't see their devices on billboards or Super Bowl commercials. But what they lack in brand fame, they make up for in value-oriented engineering. Think of NUU as the kind of company that quietly releases devices designed for people who want essentials. Calling, texting, browsing, and the occasional Instagram post without all the bells, whistles, and $1,000 price tags. Moving on to the NUU 20 itself. Let's talk about its design. The NUU 20 is surprisingly refined for a budget phone. It features a unibody plastic design, which, while not luxurious like glass or aluminum, has its advantages. It's lighter, more durable when dropped, and gives off a utilitarian, no-nonsense vibe. Available in a few minimalist colors, the phone feels solid in the hand, with curved edges that make it comfortable to hold. The back features a vertically aligned dual-camera module and a fingerprint sensor placed centrally. The bezels around the display aren't razor-thin, but again, for a phone in this price range, expectations need to be realistic. For the $120 to $150 price bracket, this is a design that won't embarrass you in public, and that's saying something. And yes, there's a headphone jack, USB-C charging, expandable storage. It's the kind of design that seems to say, we know what you need. No fluff. Now let's dive into the display. The NUU 20 features a 6.5-inch HD plus IPS LCD panel. No, it's not OLED. No, it's not 120 Hz. But here's the thing. It's bright enough for indoor use, reasonably viewable in daylight, and the colors, while not the most vivid, are respectable for the category. Text is readable. Videos on YouTube play at 720p. You won't be getting buttery smooth animations. But that's not the promise here. This is a screen that's functional. And for many users, especially those upgrading from older, smaller phones or looking for something affordable for kids, grandparents, or as a backup device, it more than gets the job done. Now here's where it gets interesting. Performance. The NUU 20 runs on a MediaTek Helio G37 chipset. It's an entry-level octa-core processor that's not going to win any benchmark awards, but it's tuned well enough for everyday tasks. Paired with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage, this phone handles basic multitasking, light social media browsing, messaging, and even light gaming. Think Subway Surfers or Candy Crush fairly well. Of course, heavier apps and games will push the limits. You might notice lag or frame drops in demanding games like PUBG or Genshin Impact. But for the average user, and this is important, for people who aren't obsessed with high performance or the latest Snapdragon chip, the NUU 20 is completely serviceable. Apps open in a second or two. Switching between apps works, as long as you don't have a dozen open at once. It's about expectations, and the NUU 20 manages them well. Alright, let's talk about cameras. Always a big topic in smartphones. The NUU 20 comes with a dual camera setup, headlined by a 13-megapixel main sensor and a secondary depth sensor. The front-facing camera is 8 megapixels. Daylight photos are decent. Not flagship level, obviously, but good enough for sharing to social media. There's a bit of shutter lag, and low-light performance is rough, grainy, soft, noisy. But again, for a phone that costs less than some people's monthly phone bill, the fact that it can still take usable photos in good light is worth acknowledging. Portrait mode is passable. Edge detection isn't perfect, but it's usable. The selfie camera does its job, though don't expect a beauty mode that works miracles. Video recording maxes out at 1080p at 30 frames per second. Stabilization is minimal, but the footage is clear if you keep a steady hand. One area that may surprise you or frustrate you, depending on your preference, is the software. The NUU 20 runs a clean version of Android 13. That's a win. No heavy skins, no clatterdui, just stock-like Android with minimal bloatware. For budget-conscious users, this clean software experience often outperforms more expensive devices bogged down by custom interfaces. But updates? That's another story. Budget phones, especially from smaller brands, rarely get timely Android updates. If security patches and OS upgrades matter to you, be prepared to live with what the phone ships with. Maybe 1 or 2 updates over its lifetime, if you're lucky. Battery life is one of the highlights of this phone. It comes with a 4,000 milliamp hours battery, and when paired with a power-efficient processor and a 720p display, you're looking at full-day endurance easily. Moderate users could even stretch into 2 days. Charging speed is average, around 10 watts, so don't expect fast charging. But for an overnight charge, this works just fine. Let's do some quick-fire comparisons. Versus Moto G Play, the NUU 20 is very similar, but slightly less refined in software polish. However, NUU might have an edge on pricing. Versus Samsung A03s. The A03s has slightly better camera tuning, but is often more expensive. Versus Unihertz, Jelly, or other niche phones, the NUU 20 offers better all-around usability for most users. Versus used phones like older Pixels or iPhones. If you're comfortable buying used, you might find better cameras or performance. But new versus used is its own debate. So, who is the NUU 20 for? It's perfect for first-time smartphone users, kids who need a starter phone, seniors looking for a simple device, anyone needing a backup phone, budget-conscious users who value essentials. This isn't a phone for gamers, content creators, or heavy users, but for the average person who just needs a basic, reliable device that won't break the bank. This is a strong contender. So, is the NUU 20 worth your money? In a word, yes. If you're the right kind of user. It's not flashy, it's not powerful, but it delivers the basics in a surprisingly clean package. With a reasonable design, acceptable display, solid battery life, and a user-friendly Android experience. All for a price well below $150. The NUU 20 punches above its weight. It's a reminder that in today's world of $1,200 phones, there's still a place for devices that just work affordably. Let me know in the comments. Have you tried a budget phone like this? Would you consider the NUU 20 for yourself or a family member? I'll be replying to every comment I can. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.